I think in honor of this review, I should try to morph myself into a kind of animated comic book world. What do you say? Wow! Okay, this is cool. To Your Last Death, released digitally in March of 2020 and is directed by Jason Axon. The film also debuted at the London Fright Fest Film Festival, that's a lot of F's in that sentence, in August of 2019. Yet another film that falls victim to the year that is 2020. I'm sure it was scheduled to have a theatrical run. I actually remember seeing promotions and trailers for it having a theatrical run. But of course, with the whole COVID situation and theaters shutting down, this is definitely one of those films that should go directly to digital streaming services during this time. And the film is starring the voices of Morena Baccarin, Danny Lennon, Ray Wise, Bill Moseley, Damian Haas, Ben Simon, and William Shatner. And that was the big selling point for me. William Shatner, his voice is animated. Yeah, I'm all in. However, I was just a tad disappointed because he plays the Overseer, and he's this being that is kind of just there. He doesn't have a body at all, so I couldn't see an animated William Shatner on screen. But it was really cool to still hear his voice. Miriam Dickholm is called with the rest of her siblings to her father's big corporate office building, and during their meeting with their father, he reveals his plans to murder each one of them for disappointing him. However, Miriam is the only one to escape, and while she is laying sedated in her hospital bed, a strange supernatural being known as the Game Maker appears to give Miriam another fighting chance to right the wrongs of this situation. All of a sudden, time is turned back to the moment where she enters her father's corporate building with the rest of her siblings. So she gets to relive the same night over again, but with the previous knowledge of what's about to happen. So think Groundhog Day with the animation style of Archer, and then also the horror torturistic aspects of Saw. That is the perfect description for this film. Now, when I originally saw trailers and promotional material for this film, I was really excited. I thought it looked really, really cool. And I always like when the animated genre takes an adult turn to it, because animation is stereotypically geared towards a younger audience or children, which I watched a ton of course, when I was a kid, but now that I'm a grown-ass adult, I mean, I still want cartoons, but it'd be nice to have some adult topics when it comes to my cartoons, and this film definitely has that. I'd say it's more of an action film than a horror film, but it does have horror elements to it, especially when you get to the realization just how much blood and guts are in this film. And my god, there is a ton. That's something that animated films can kind of get away with, right? Because it's not real blood that we're showing up on screen. It's not real people that we're seeing being tortured to death. No. These are cartoon characters, and in the back of our minds, yes, we have the willing suspension of disbelief that we want to follow these characters and follow them through this journey, but in the back of our minds we know, this isn't real, this is a cartoon. And the animation, I mean, it's vibrant animation that you really can't get past that aspect. And I think that's probably the biggest selling point of this film, and probably the biggest detriment to this film also. And you see the poster, you see the trailer for this film, and you go, wow, it looks really cool. An animated horror film and an action film, it looks badass. And then you go into it, and yes, the animation is beautiful. It's stunning. I love the crispness and the cleanness and the vibrantness of the animation and of the drawings that we see on screen. It actually looks like a kind of stop motion comic book. I don't know if any of you had this growing up, but I had like little stop motion animation films that I would watch going along with like my Grimm's fairy tale books that I had as a kid when I was learning to read. You know, like you do. I learned to read and then I watched the movie. But the characters would kind of walk along like this, almost like a walking hieroglyphic. So that's the detriment to it. You kind of can't get past the idea that it's a cartoon, so the horror of this story that they're trying to convey is actually, it's really lost on me. And if that horror aspect is lost, I'm kind of apathetic to the situation. And also, I don't think there's enough character development in this story for me to actually care and give a damn about any of these characters. Miriam, of course, is our main character. She's our protagonist. She's the one that we're supposed to be following. And yes, we do get glimpses of where she came from. We get the ideas of how her childhood was with growing up with an abusive father to his wife and to his children. I think the best word to describe it is it felt soulless to me. Because you put that description down on character and you go, yeah, that makes sense, and it should probably make these characters very lovable and relatable. But then you see it in this animation style and you go, how long is this going to take? And sadly, that was a big disappointment for me, because when I was scheduling out these movies to review during the month of October, trying to find some horror films and some Halloween films, I ran across this one, and I thought, oh wow, that's really cool. It's something different, and actually I'm really looking forward to it. And then just to kind of get a kind of soulless character development and soulless plot line, I'm kind of just sitting here going, well, it looks pretty, but what else you got? And then on top of that, we have this strange kind of like fifth or sixth dimension situation where these godlike figures are betting on the situation. That's why the Game Master appears, to give Miriam a fighting chance to redo it. She shows up because she wants to get the betting going. And she keeps showing up and keeps changing the rules and keeps changing the situations. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's a cool concept to have these omnipotent beings that are betting on these puny humanistic lives during this situation. But if you're betting, and if the bets are locked, the person running it is changing the outcome? I mean, yes, casinos are full of shit, but I mean, come on, man. I've never been, but if you go to the tracks to bet on a horse, you don't place your bet and then have someone go out there and take like a baseball bat as they walk by to go, that's going to screw everyone up. Of course, that's an awful thing to say. I would never do that, nor would I wish that upon any horse or any animal ever, but it's trying to get the idea across. When you lock the bet, you let it play out. But this Game Master is going in and going, nope, we gotta change this. Oh, no, I didn't like how you resolved it here, so we're gonna go back and redo it. There are multiple times where Miriam wins and everyone survives. And the Game Master's like, no, I don't like that ending. Let's change it up. Like, no, you can't do that. Unless there is a sequel and we get some explanation as to why she's doing that, or why she manipulated it to where this one omnipotent being won as opposed to everyone else in the gambling pit. I'm calling bullshit on it. I mean, that's crap. You're a crappy Game Master, I'm sorry. I will never play Dungeons & Dragons with you. Putting that out there. In the end, I think this film is really wonderful to look at, and I love the concept behind it, taking horror aspects and the action genre and compiling it into this really crisp and looking animation. Looks beautiful. And the traps that we see in here are actually pretty fucking gruesome. But you take all of the frosting away and you take all of the dressing away and you're left with just the cake batter. You're left with just the attempt at the story and the attempt at the character development, and I'm just not feeling it. I'm not connected in any way, and I'm kind of just checking my watch a couple of times thinking, okay, how long is this going? It ended a couple of times, and yet we're still here. Why am I still here? I'm going to give To Your Last Death 2.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I found that if you have a goal, that you might not reach it. But if you don't have one, then you are never disappointed. And I gotta tell you, it feels phenomenal.
Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part of my videos where I pick which movie I'm going to be watching next, and the next one is a recommendation from one of my subscribers who recommended this film. It sounded like a psychological thriller, so I put it here in the month of October for Halloween month. This is from Ethan Turley. You recommended Enemy, a film by Denis Villeneuve, who I love as a director. He's actually becoming one of my favorite directors working today. Loved every single film that he's produced that I have seen, and I know this is one of his earlier works, so I'm definitely excited to check this one out. So if any of you have recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, leave your comment below this video, or go to my Facebook page, my Instagram, or my Twitter. Leave your recommendation there. If I have access to it, I will watch, review it, and give you a shout on the channel. If you really want me to do your recommendation as quickly as possible, you can make a PayPal donation on the main page of my YouTube channel. Any size donation will do. You can attach your movie to your donation, and if I have access to it, I will watch, review it, and give you a shout on the channel. Or if you just want to send a little bit my way to help me boost this channel and to help me make this something bigger than what it's been in the last 3 years, go ahead and feel free to make a PayPal donation. I won't deny you. So guys, have you seen To Your Last Death? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you'll the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of Enemy. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.